All right, we are now ready to send it over to Studio 2A, where we'll be joined tonight by performers from the Tucson Hip Hop Festival, taking place March 6th through 9th. The events will be spread at a couple different locations, including at Club Congress, at 191 Tool, Kickoff at Monsoon Collective. There is a diverse array of programming, everything from music to panels to breakfast with the mayor at the Cup. It is going to be a packed few days, and we're going to talk all about it. But first, without further ado, live from Studio 2A, here's some samples from the upcoming producer stage at the Tucson Hip Hop Festival.
Can't think of any other way to put this, so here it is. They are going to be paying us to kill monsters.
They're gonna be paying us to do what? very strongly that the knowledge would change anything at all. But let's say that I take the time to explain it to you. What do you think would happen then?
You're tuned in to Locals Only here, 91.3 KXCI, and I am joined by some of the producers who are going to be performing at the Tucson Hip Hop Festival, as well as one of the organizers. But let's start with introductions. Everybody let us know who you are, why you're here tonight.
You better go. It was your set.
Yeah, Ben, you start us off.
Cool. Yeah, my name's Ben. I go by Halsero. I'm a DJ and producer here in Tucson. This is actually my second year on the festival, thankfully. Really stoked about it. Yeah, that was my music.
Excellent. Thanks, Ben.
That was very good music. Thank you for playing. My name is Lugo. This is my third year. This is my third year at going to be my third year at the Tucson Hip Hop Festival, and I am honored every time I am asked to play. Yeah, pushing it off to Odette.
Hi, I'm Odette. I'm with the Tucson Hip Hop Festival. I do the social media, and here I am
Here
on
you
the
are.
radio.
Old school social media.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Cool.
I think you do much. Your presence, actually, your presence here is really helping. Thank you for
Oh,
saying
yeah,
that.
like the
seriously.
mom? Am I the
It's great.
the Cub Scout mom?
You're here to
like
keep us in line, actually. Yeah, we might say some stupid stuff. And
You like
we
a
get
really
too
cool
technical.
carpool.
Yeah, all right. I can dig it.
So we're going to talk about the festival in a little bit, but I want to start off, given that we started with the Halsero set there, let's talk a little bit about that set and about your where you got started making beats, doing this.
Yeah, well, I've been making beats probably since high school, early college. A friend of mine showed me Fruity Loops,
Yeah.
and then I got that, and then another friend of mine came over with this hunking machine one time, and this is an APC 40. For those of you who don't know, it's like a really big square thing
With many buttons and knobs.
So many knobs and buttons. But yeah, he came over and he showed me kind of how to use it and how to build stuff. And it's really funny because when I started making music, I was not in the my journey into hip hop is really crazy because when I started making music, I wanted to make like it was like 2007, so it was when Rusko dropped Fabric Live. I was really about that, and I wanted to make grime music though. So I was like, I've always been like a hip hop kid, but grime was kind of where I was bridging the gap between bass culture and that, and then naturally progressed from there into jungle. So I got even faster, and then I moved down here and. Actually it was one of my best friends, this guy Colin, who I went over to his house one day, and these are like all of my friends now are like this, but I go over to his house and I show him some of my music, and he's just like looks at me and he's like, I don't like this. Like, I don't like any. I was like, nah, it's cool. He's like, nah, it's not. Like, it's all the same. And from there, I was like, well, maybe I need to start messing with, like, time grids and things. And, yeah, and then hip-hop, I started making a whole bunch of hip-hop remixes and R&B remixes because I have a secret affinity for R&B.
Yeah,
Who's
got a soft side.
Yeah.
And incidentally, if you're listening right now and you want to see all the buttons on the box that we talked about, you can actually watch if you head to the KXCI Facebook or YouTube page. You can watch live footage of this and see. It's actually really cool to see how you do what you do. And for people who aren't really familiar with the process of how those sounds that they just heard are kind of coming to life in real time, can you give everyone like the sort of 101 version of how you just did what you did?
So I was actually just telling Lugo out that Lugo and I are friends outside. I should make this clear. We're all like friends outside of this as well. It's not like I just met him, but
we'll never play to an empty room. Thanks to each other.
It's pretty great. No, but I was telling him my process is kind of weird in regards to the way that I make all this stuff, because I'll build everything. There's two different views in the software that I use, which is Ableton, Ableton Live, stand up.
Shout out.
Shouts to Ableton. But I make it in like song view, so I can see kind of everything that I'm playing and building, and I started kind of building the whole track from there, and then I just naturally have all of these parts where other instruments come in and come out. So what I do is then once I finish the track and I've kind of brought all my levels to where I want them, I then cut them into segments, and then I lay them out into another view, which is the clip view on this, into like what is the kind of progression of the song itself. So like 101, build a song, slice it up, drop it in an organized manner, and then push play, and I can add post effects and things like that.
So the short way of saying this, you make all the notes.
I do.
You make all the notes.
I do everything that I can.
Yeah.
Some of the harmonies and stuff, like I'm not by any means a phenomenal musician. I was a mariachi. It played the trumpet, played the baritone for a while.
I didn't know that.
Fun
fact. A little bit about me. But I know enough about music to kind of bring theory and staying in key and things like that.
You sort of have to know that, right? I mean,
it's really important.
Fly into this blind. It's really difficult if you do.
I think it's nice, like now with a lot of hip hop though, is that like when I got started, I had some background in music, but I hadn't been making music for a really long time, and I've learned this by doing some of the hip hop festival events like the Round Table. Shouts Max Sama on the Round Table and Pike. But by doing that, there's a lot of kids that are making music now that didn't take like theory or really know how to play anything, but they're doing it all by ear. And it's interesting because I was learning through some of the things that even I do when I download like an 808 and I can tune that and everything. Just kind of a tool for people to use. It tells you what key it's in, so when you lay that back out, it'll let you know where you're at, and then you can harmonize the rest of your music to kind of learn of your own, like at least what an E note sounds like, or an G sharp, whatever. Which I think it's important. I stand by Lugo.
I mean, I remember when I first started many years ago, decades ago, and I had already been playing music for a very long time at that point, and I still was completely lost by trying to meet technology with traditional music theory, and that was, so having that knowledge of just traditional basics of music is almost fundamental. You really can't go into this without it, or else actually you might make something really genius. If you just fly into it, you might accidentally come up with something awesome, but that's few and far in between. There's a lot of work that goes in.
You could easily be like me. My first, when I like I said, my friend showed me Fruity Loops. If I could show you those songs, you'd be embarrassed. I wouldn't be allowed back. He's removed from the hip hop festival.
So we're gonna hear from Lugo in just a minute, but before we do that, Odette, can you give us our first quick introduction to what is going down at the Tucson Hip Hop Festival, and then we'll go into depth during the next break.
Yes, I came prepared. We have a lot going on. Actually, it starts March 6th. which is awesome. We're going to have events that are not just on the main day of the festival. So we're really excited about that. First time doing that. We're going to have a zine workshop with Ojalá Systems on March 6th at La Pilita. March 7th, we have a kickoff party at Monsoon Collective. Dope artists lined up for that. March 8th, we have Breakfast with the Mayor, one-on-one mentorship, and panel discussions at Hotel Congress. So that's going to be a full day of information for artists and the community alike. So that's going to be really cool. And then to end that day, we have a bunch of amazing local artists lined up, and with the show closing with Master Ace and Marco Polo Beats at Congress that night, March 8th. So super excited about that. And then March 9th, main day, that's like,
That's the
it's
big day.
overload of fun and
19,000 stages. There's like 6 stages. And
Tucson's EDC, but only for one day.
It's super packed.
It's bigger.
It's super packed with
bigger
fun.
than EDC.
Exactly. So, over 100 acts. There's 6 stages, live DJs, rappers, producers, breakers, graffiti, local food vendors. And this year we also have lowriders, so I'm kind of excited for that.
So stoked about
And
that.
every Tucson hip hop festival I've ever been to is just such cool people. The people you
agreed.
meet just walking from stage to stage and attraction to attraction. They're so nice. They're so cool, and they're all into the same. Everybody there is just like, wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, did you check out that stage?
it's
Oh,
all
there's some
love.
dudes breakdancing over there. It's fantastic. I love it.
It's wild too, because it's like I was looking at the lineups when they all dropped, and every single stage is just packed with some of the producer stage alone. Just as a performer on that, it's just blew my mind that I get to be up on stage with some of those people.
Yeah.
There's a million names I could
And
list
then
off.
that night's headliner are the Underachievers, so that's really, really exciting too. So we're excited. But you can find all info at the TucsonHipHopFestival.com. That's our website. Or on our socials, Tucson Hip Hop Festival on Facebook, Tucson Hip Hop Festival on Instagram, and Tucson HH Fest on Twitter, to be exact.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank God you're a hero. Yeah. I would have never remembered that.
I barely know all of my Twitter.
See, I am
handles.
the scout mom.
There you go.
Yeah, you guys do the.
Yeah.
Or no, stage mom. I'm stage mom. Yes.
All right.
So we're going to get back into the music here with a set from Lugo, and then we'll chat a bit more about what else is in store at the Tucson Hip Hop Festival, March 6th through 9th at venues throughout Tucson. So Lugo, you're up, man.
Hey, thanks. Okay, I'm gonna play a little thing right here. Okay, hope you enjoy it. Let's see what we got here.
Let me tell you how it started. Oh yes, it was so beautiful. Let me tell you how it started. Let it was so beautiful. Oh yes. Oh yes, it was so beautiful. Let me tell you how it started.
That's it.
Perfect.
That's a great time.
That was
Dude,
10
that was
minutes
on the
exactly.
That was right on the
I
nose.
was winging it.
Wow.
Oh my God! Hey, but thank you
Yeah.
for having. Oh, anyway, hey.
Yeah.
What's up? Hey, Matt.
So you're tuned in to Locals Only here on KXCI. That was Lugo there with a set.
Hi.
Little preview of the producer stage at
dude.
Tucson Hip Hop Festival. And the producer stage will be on Saturday, March 9th. Get started around noon. Is that right, Odette?
Yes. The festival starts at noon, and so will all the music and the fun. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, and Lugo's going to be performing at 4 o'clock. Halsero's going to be performing 3:30 at the producer stage. But there's so much more going on. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But first, I want to talk to Lugo about how he made those wonderful sounds.
Hi.
So
I'm Lugo. I'm holding a picture of Jimi Hendrix, and I saw this picture. So it's hanging in the hallway of KXCI Studios, and I was like, "That's the guy that started it." Like, I would have had a different life trajectory had I never discovered Jimi Hendrix, but I did, and it was at that right age of like early teenagehood, and then it's just been music ever since.
Yeah, shouts to Jimi Hendrix.
Shout outs to Jimi Hendrix. I would have made an excellent surgeon at this point with all the amount of time and effort I put into music.
Don't blame Jimmy.
Yeah, that's not Jimmy's fault.
It's not.
Like,
well, I mean,
you're welcome.
Yeah, you're right. It was
Exactly.
all of my decisions. Yeah,
Well,
You could have just
everybody's
been a surgeon.
like, how did you get into music? I'm like,
Yeah.
actually, the question is, why didn't you ever stop?
Yeah.
Why did you ever stop making music?
Well, you're still a surgeon of sorts.
That's true.
And we got to watch you, honing your craft there. But what I really want to talk to our listeners about is, just contrasting the difference between how you were producing the sounds that they just heard during that set compared to what we were hearing earlier. And there's a lot of physicality to the performance as well that people might not fully appreciate if they're just listening. So tell us a little bit about how you just did what you did.
Yeah. So I use a drum machine that you can load sounds into. It's called an MPC 1000. It's a very famous drum machine used in hip hop throughout the years. In fact, it's probably, besides the use of turntables and a microphone, it's one of the things that help form the very foundation of hip hop. And so, yeah, basically, I was talking to somebody the other day about how it works, and it's what I'd have to say is, like, it's kind of like having a piano in front of you, and if you were to press a key, you get no sound. But if you were to load a sound onto that key, and it could be any sound throughout recorded history or a sound that you make that day, or you can even hum into it, that could be the sound that's on that one key. Now, there's 88 keys in front of you, so what are you going to do? And in addition to that, what this drum machine does is it records the sequence of you pressing certain keys. So with that, you can come up with musical phrases. And it's, if the love of music is your thing and the history of music, and just messing with sounds, thank you, Jimi Hendrix, for bestowing that love upon me. This MPC is really it's an addictive process to even just listen to these loops, play over and over again, and like, what can I do to make this better? And you only have, what this machine can hold, the memory of sounds that it can hold, and it's I've been doing this for about 20 years now, and I really haven't found a reason. I haven't found the limits yet, and I keep trying to find the limits, but I haven't yet. It's weird.
So tell us a little bit about how you fish for the sounds and the samples and everything you use to create what we just heard.
Yeah, I was a record collector before I even started making hip hop beats, and I was really into punk rock when I was a kid. Punk rock was the music that made me realize that I can play music. I loved Jimi Hendrix, but I couldn't play like Jimi Hendrix. Right. But I heard punk rock, and I was like, I can do that. I can rap on the drums like that.
Yeah.
So I'd always buy these records, and and of course, I was listening to hip hop as every kid did, you know. I remember like seeing Run DMC when I was a kid and seeing Jam Master Jay scratch the record on the Walk This Way video, and that blew my mind. So of course I immediately went and scratched all my mom and dad's records, and you know, I don't think they ever found out about it. I was pretty good, but you know, like I always had a fascination with records and stereos and sound, and yeah, that's kind of, I'm always looking for new records, and sort of hip hop production is a way for me to sort of utilize my weird obsession with collecting records. I actually like find a utilitarian use for collecting records, because eventually you wake up one day, like, you know, 12, 15 years later, and you're like, oh my God, I have thousands of records and I have to move. This is going to be terrible.
I was just about to say, you could never move again. So yeah, we're on the same page there. Well, so thank you for sharing that, because I think it's one thing that people that it's hard to appreciate and have a point of entry for understanding just how much work and craft goes into what everyone just heard, and I'm really grateful that you both have been willing to peel back the veil a little bit and share with our listeners your process. So speaking of that, Odette, one of the things I want to talk a little bit more about is how, as you mentioned before, the Hip Hop Festival, it's more than just music. There's so much else going on. So tell us a little bit about what's sort of the philosophy of the festival that led it to expand to be so much more than just a couple of stages with some music.
Well, I mean, it's so multifaceted anyway. Hip hop, it just has grown. You know, the main focus is the 4 elements of hip hop, but obviously we have the 5th. You know, producer is also an element. You know, and it doesn't get. It doesn't, you know, fall
feel
under
like
the
Bruce
4.
Willis on the 5th element.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
The future.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
Still the 5th element is still the future. Yeah.
It's the aliens going on in here and making that music, the beats. So I mean, it's just there's just so much that goes into it, and so much that doesn't get a light on, because of it's just one day, and it's just, you know, so much going on, so much talent in this town.
Yeah.
So it just expanded to different days, and to, you know, the panel work is awesome. So is the mentorship is really
All
super
the
important for
pre-shows.
people who are, you know, artists and want to make it a business. So so I mean, to get all that in one day is just crazy. So that's how it's expanded to almost a whole
You
week.
get the 5th element of hip hop.
It's
exactly.
Yeah,
honestly,
you
that
get your b-boy in and your MC in, and you break. You know, you get your graffiti. That's still the illegal portion of
we do illegally. It's nice to have a producer stage too, honestly. Like I think I was talking to another friend about this, and it's kind of this production as a whole has, especially with like this new wave of producers, you know, people like Great Dane, John Wayne, like even like Mr. Carmack, that entire like Team Supreme label, even like Sonora and Beat Collective, which we're both part of. It's just like I think
remembering that.
Yeah, man. Shouts to Jedediah for being that guy. But I think it's really important, because there's an element in hip hop that is production that kind of like goes by the wayside. Because I think that like I as a, you know, as a producer, and like I'm assuming Lugo as well, like when I make my music, like it's very much a part of me, and it's like something that I'm sharing, absolutely. But like I don't necessarily, and I may not, you know, I may be one of the only ones, but probably not. But I don't necessarily think of like rap when I make what I make. You know, I make what I make to share it, like with the intent of being like, yo, check this beat out. This is great. And it was like when the Hip Hop Festival made a producer stage, it was like that was like the light of my life. The first year that I went, and I didn't even perform the first year, and I didn't even know half these guys at that point in time, and you know, it was just this amazing thing that I was like, man, like this is showcasing something that like means so much to me. You know, outside of just hip hop, like I love hip hop culture. I love everything about hip hop. Like I'm from South Phoenix. Like it's embedded in my lifestyle.
South Phoenix, South Tucson, son.
I mean South Tucson. No, but yeah, producers are just it's this element within hip hop that like for a really long time like kind of has been, you needed a rapper to be a producer. And now like in the culture and everything that it is, and it's great to see that the festival like really acknowledges and pushes that.
So Odette, one more time, if people want more information, what's the best way for them to find it?
Well, we have all our information. We have a great website. It's Tucson Hip Hop Festival.com, and you have everything, from about us and the group and who we are, and there's pictures of us and and also all the events, and also you can buy tickets, which are really important. Hope you can get out there and buy tickets to any of the nights. March 6th, 7th, and 8th, tickets are $10. General admission for the festival is $25, but it's a whole day of
It's totally
awesomeness.
worth it. It's totally
worth it because, and then you get the underachievers also included in that.
Yeah. A $25 ticket for the underachievers alone.
Yeah,
is a steal.
Exactly.
$25 for sensory overload in the most hip hop club you can have. You'll meet the coolest people, and now there's lowriders.
Oh,
exactly.
there's
Lowriders.
And good old, shouts to Pike. Good old Kiss of Smoke's gonna be there again.
Yes.
Shout out
awesome
to Pike.
food.
Yeah. Well, I mean Brandy, because she runs that.
The breakdance scene is also always, high flying.
It's always.
Yeah.
Oh, and
So
the
much
graffiti
fun.
too, man. The artists are really. I mean,
The graffiti last year was sick.
I know.
Yes.
One of my.
Anyways,
All
you
day.
see us gushing.
yeah.
You hear us gushing about
Yeah,
this.
I mean,
you can do the same. For just $25.
Low
Call now.
And we're going to have more music from the Hip Hop Festival next Monday here on Locals Only. So stick around for that. Tune back in. But we're going to wrap things up. We'll do back-to-back sets to go for the rest of the show. So who wants to start ahead? Maybe we'll go back to Halsero and then we'll wrap it up with Lugo.
Hey, wait! I can't leave this microphone alone unless I say, "Hi, Mom, happy birthday! I love you." Okay.
Oh yeah. Hi mom. How's it going? Hi all my friends.
There you
I got
go.
a few of them texting me. My
Hi,
friend
Bethany.
Peter.
If you're
Genevieve
listening,
is
love
at
you.
work.
Yeah. All right, that's it though. Okay, let's
All
get
right.
back to business. Let's get back to beats. Beats.
You're cursed to walk the earth. How long before you're no longer cursed to walk the earth? Until the weight of my past is shattered by my oncoming future. It shouldn't be too long, my nemesis.
What I'm talking about. We road dogs again. But if you going anywhere with me, we got to get you cleaned up and ready to rumble. what I'm talking about.
Hey, Ben. Yeah. Hey, wait, am I on air? Am I on air right now? Yeah. Thank you, Duncan. You've been awesome tonight, by the way. Hey, Ben, quick question. James Carr or Nina Simone?
Nina Simone all day.
Nina Simone, all right. By request. I asked him. It wasn't a request at all. I simply gave him an option. Okay. Thanks, dude. Nina Simone time. All right. Let's see here. Wait, I have a sound. I have a sound. Okay. Okay, let's see what I have here.
You've been listening to Locals Only here on KXEI. Thanks to Lugo. Thanks to Halsero.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
And thanks to Odette and the folks behind the Tucson Hip Hop Festival, March 6th through 9th.
Yes.
Heck yeah.
We'll have
Be
more
there.
music next week from the Tucson Hip Hop Festival, so stick around. Scratching Post is up next. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Talk to you soon.
Sweet.